God, that's strange. Somebody came in here and said hello before I started it. Okay, well, I guess I'm live now, so good for you. I guess people are getting notified. I always change the time I do this now. I guess I'll notify people. Am I not live? Or yeah, it looks like you're the only one here. Can you hear me? It's like a really slow take tonight. Maybe it's because it's summer and people are out enjoying it. Or maybe it's because I finally exhausted my audience on the lives. I only made one video this week. I'm having a really, really slow week. I'm trying to rest and it's taking me like months. Oh, okay, now there's people here. Brooke. Hi, Brooke. There are a lot of Brooks that love my content. Brandy's here. Amanda's here. Hi. What's your occupation? This is my occupation. This is all I do. I made a ton of progress last year, and I'm so tired right now. I'm just resting, and I made like one video today on TikTok. Hi, James Wong. Hi, Avocado. Thanks for saying you can hear me. How am I tonight? I am tired. Andrew. I'm very tired. Is it over if a girl ain't texting as often as you? Yeah, I would recommend her being more excited than you. Like if you have to constantly like get her attention, it's not because she's not seeing your text. It's not because she's not looking at the phone. It's like you have a phone, right? And you get texts and you see them and you decide whether or not to answer them. She's getting your text, she's just not answering them. Gladiator Camp says he loves the levels of thinking video I did. Am I going to expand on that? Yes, I am. I'm going to expand on it a lot. It's going to be a video that takes a long time for me to work on and probably doesn't return me very much money, but I'm going to base a lot of my work on it. Like I need to make my models better. So I'm probably going to, as soon as my brain starts working again, I'm going to redo the model and make it much clearer and easier to read and buff out all the tools. Like the quadrants thing is really, really important. I'm finding that I need to explain things using the quadrants every day because I will make a video and people will say, like, I'll be talking about something that goes here in the, like this is a single, singular, and plural, and this is inside and outside. So this would be like inside your mind, and then this would be your physical body, which are different things. And then this would be like inside your culture. And then this would be, I don't know, society. I don't know how to draw society. And like every day, I usually talk about stuff that's happening here, like the way that society is changing because of the way that culture is changing because of what people are letting into their minds. And so I'm talking about this stuff and every single day someone will be like, well, that's a skill issue, bro, like it's on you. And no, it isn't. Like if everybody gets fat all at once, if there's an obesity crisis, then obesity is not your personal decision. It's like something changed in the atmosphere and the food we eat that caused that. Everything has all of these components. So when you're talking about something that's changing, if it's everyone at once, it can't be one person's fault. I have to get people to understand this or I'm not going to be able to make my points. It's a part of integral theory. The quadrants. It's a very, very difficult part of it for people to understand because they're not just buckets that you throw things in. It's not like, well, this problem is a you problem and this problem is a social problem. It's all, everything has all of them. So if you're not recognizing that, you're not getting full answers. And the biggest pain point for me, like the biggest hard part in my life is when people ask me, hey, how are you doing? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? And people are like pushing me and I say, well, I don't really feel good. I don't want to do that. They go, why? I tell them, and it's all stuff that like happened to me. And then they give me, why don't you buck up? Like personal interior answers, and there are no personal interior answers for it. So I just have to explain to people how human beings don't just have infinity interior energy to be better all the time. Like, if bad things happen to you, your life is going to get worse. Shouldn't be hard to understand. Forever chemicals in McDonald's food. Yeah, everything we eat is killing us. It's pretty bad. Do you think society is going to collapse because of hookup culture? Partly because of it. Definitely that's a part of it. Eroding our relationships so that people don't care about each other and they don't have and raise good children is certainly a part of society collapsing. Because if there's no children, like if the people who built America don't have children, and then America is filled with the descendants of people who didn't build America, then it won't be America. That's a collapse. It's not going to look the same. It's not like you're going to completely replace all the people and everything's going to look and behave the same. It's stupid to think that would be the case. Avocado says sounds like a Venn diagram more than quadrants. No, not really, because there's nothing separate. There's no Venn diagram. If it was a Venn diagram, then it would just look like this. It would just have one circle with everything in it, because it doesn't matter what it is. If you're talking about your diet, it's got all four parts. And if you're talking about hookup culture, it's got all four parts. And if you're talking about, I don't know, nuclear war, it's got all four parts. There's nothing that's just here and not here. Have you seen the Hot Crazy Matrix video? Yeah, I did a response to it. Have you heard of the Gervais principle? I'd like to hear your take on it. Yeah, it's been suggested that I do a video about that, and for sure, it's on point. Like, his structure of the characters in The Office, and in The American Office too, really definitely does demonstrate how some people get it and some people don't. How some people believe in the surfaces and some people know how to communicate in a more subtle way. What did you do before this? I was kind of crying on the couch for 2 years. Like, I was living in a major city when COVID happened, and I lost everything, and I was on unemployment for quite a long time, and my life never went back to the way it was before. And I was very like struggling and unhappy, so I just left. And then I had to live in a relative's extra property for a while, and that was unpleasant. And I didn't have a job, and I was living off savings. Before that, like, I've worked in corporate jobs, and I did Uber and stuff. Eric says I miss the crickets. Well, I can't go get them. I don't know where they are. Kale says, hey, how math, I have a lazy eye. Should I accept it and just be lonely, or should I get surgery to be able to date? Eye patch is an option as well. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. You have to either choose to, like, find girls who don't care, or do what it takes to fix it. What's more valuable to you? Like, do you want to deal with surgery? I don't know what that would be like. I can't recommend for you to get eye surgery. I don't know. Could you lose an eye? You want to get knives in your eye? I don't know what that's like. How much is it going to cost you, and how much is it worth to you? That's just, I can only tell you what is the right question to ask. Would it be worth it to you to wear an eye patch to make girls like you more? Would it be worth it to you to get surgery to make girls like you more? I can't tell you if it's worth it to you. You already know what the question is. I can't answer those questions for you. If I had to have somebody cut my eyes and get eye surgery, but then girls might like me better. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. What else do we have? Have you seen the channel Clear Value Tax? No. A few years ago, a dry tax money advice channel. Now he says the government is lying in fiscal reports and we're heading toward an economic collapse. Well, yeah, obviously, the government's lying to you about everything. So he used to give tax and money advice, and now he's warning that the government is corrupt. I guess everyone go watch Clear Value tax. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I am ringing the alarm bell. I'm ringing it. I've been screaming and yelling and telling everyone a collapse is coming, and everyone says, "Oh, you're dumb and crazy." There's gonna be ice cream trucks forever. Um, but yeah, economic collapse is near, and it's not gonna be just economic collapse either. It's gonna be like the dollar won't be worth anything, so it's not gonna be like the Great Depression where we have to get the economy back on track. It's gonna be like America is bankrupt. America has nothing, and so we're gonna be trading rocks and potatoes, and you better just like have a safe house and some place to get food. Probably like 90% of the country will die, um, if that happens. People really just don't have their eye on how bad things are. People have this tendency, this horrible tendency to no matter what is happening, no matter what it is, no matter how bad it is, they go, it's okay, everything's fine, everything will be fine. We can pretend that this is not happening. Even though a bad thing is happening, we can pretend it's not happening. Like, this happens all the time where a woman will have like she'll get divorced and she'll have like a daughter, and then she gets remarried to some guy because he has money and he can take care of her, right? And then he ends up like abusing the little girl. Just do sad face. And then the mother finds out and just goes, "Oh no, I didn't see anything. Because if I see something, then that means that I lose my, like, I can't live in this house anymore or something." And like, this is a horrible thing to ignore. But people are really good at just going, "I didn't see the bad thing. I didn't see the bad thing. I didn't see the bad thing. So there is no bad thing. I'm just going to say I didn't see it. So it's not there." And people are doing that with like the lies they told us about the pandemic, and they're doing that with quadrupling the money supply, and they're doing that with like 30 million illegal immigrants, and they're doing that with, there's so many things. There's so many different um, bits and pieces of what's going on that people are completely ignoring, and they're like, you should invest in the stock market. There's not going to be a stock market. There's too many bad things happening. Avocado says he got relax eye surgery. Like relax, but with an E. And he says it was good. Michael Doran says, "Are you familiar with the video? It's not about the nail." Yeah, I do know about that video. I do get it, and it's pretty accurate. Women they just want you to understand their pain. Don't pull the nail out. It just hurts. The nail is just so it hurts. Oh, that must be hard for you. It's for anyone that doesn't know, it's a guy and a girl, and she's got a nail sticking out of her head, and she's complaining. And she's going, "It hurts. The nail hurts." And the guy just goes like, "Well, I could pull it out for you." And she goes, "No, I don't want a solution. Just want you to listen." And the nail just stays there. And men really don't understand that, because it's like, I could improve your life for you, but she doesn't want that. She just wants you to hear how, like, that it's bad. It's a real thing. Surf says, "Been thinking about this for a while. How do you interact with family when you're clearly higher levels than they are?" You gotta let go of them ever getting up to where you are. You gotta just let go of it. And you have to say, well, what is it that they are capable of? Do they want to talk about their political stuff? We'll just say, "Oh yeah, oh totally, I get it." Do they want to just talk about, do they love Christmas or something? Talk about Christmas. Don't try to pull them up to your level. You can't do that. And in the case that you disagree with somebody, like for example, there are some people in my family who are not capable of thinking, you know, at a level that I can, so that we can talk about our disagreements in a productive way. And we disagree about so much that I can't hang out with them. So usually, the way that people resolve that is one or another person gives up what they believe. They change what they believe. And like this is where conformity comes from. When people are uncomfortable with each other, there's one strong person and one weak person, and the weak person changes for the strong person. So then you get like a, you know, it's like a circle of conformist people who are united by beliefs that all come from negotiation in belief. And when you get to higher levels, you don't want to negotiate your beliefs and you don't need others to negotiate their beliefs either. And that's something that they don't understand. Like if you enter into a conversation where you disagree with somebody, they treat it as a negotiation. They're going to say, "Well, are you going to change your belief because I'm not changing mine?" And then you end up being enemies with them because you, if it's true what you're saying that you're a higher level thinker and your family's not, if that's true, then you probably are able to tolerate them believing something other than what you do, but they are not able to tolerate you believing something other than what they do. And so you have to just not talk about the stuff that they don't like. That's the only way that you can really like be integral and interact with people who cannot get on your level is that you just don't give them things they can't deal with because you can't force them to grow. You can't make people learn to deal with things they can't deal with. Um, Chayamos says, "You've nailed the not people zone phenomenon." Yes, I know. Thank you. Bitcoin is the way out of the fiat economic collapse. How do you mean? Just put all your money in it? You want me to dump everything into Bitcoin? That's confusing to me. How are you preparing for it? Says X Neospace. I've been saying this stuff for months, but I fear the world that will emerge from the chaos. I just stopped caring. Yeah, I don't care either. I'm preparing for it mostly by being just okay with dying. Like if it happens and I don't have a network of Amish people who grow food and a nice safe house to stay in and like tons of weapons, if I don't have all that when there is a collapse, I'll just I don't know, die quickly. I don't care. I'm not having a great time. Like I'm not like, "Oh no, my life is so important to me. I must cling to it." The reason that I'm doing this channel and talking about all these things is because there's a very short time, in my opinion, for people to, understand the patterns and change them before something terrible happens. Like we're having family collapses and social collapses and cultural collapses, and I believe we may be on the brink of an economic collapse as well, and then lose our day-to-day safety. Um, that's why I'm doing this. It's why I spend my time on it. Because I think that there's still a chance to avert some of the crisis that we're going through. So many overlapping crises. Avocado's back. He says, "There's a subreddit which I love called R Collapse. I've been there for years. Also, ignoring the bad thing has to be biological coping mechanism to survive. Cope, adapt, or die." Yeah, I guess I would say that that's true. Because when you live in a really small group and you all have to agree on something, and like the guy in charge is doing bad stuff, I guess you probably have to let him. It's probably why we let like the Epsteins and the Weinsteins and Bill Clinton. That's probably why we let them get away with bad stuff. Because they're the leaders, so shh, the leader can do whatever he wants. And now this is like gonna kill us all. So it's not like, the leader gives us things. It's the leader's killing us all. And that's the thing that everyone's ignoring. So it's like, people have been hacked. Our brains have been hacked. Do you think America's society would be better off after going through some major systemic collapse? I think that it's mostly just at risk of not existing anymore. There won't be anything called America. There won't like most of the people in the cities will die, and there'll be invasions and bombs, and like it'll be like what's a country that doesn't exist anymore? Like what Rome did to the Visigoths and the Ostrogoths. They just don't exist anymore. It's gonna be possibly like that. Very little of this has to do with dating. This is just collapse talk. Sparks XV says, how do you raise a family and teach your kids to prepare for this world and give them the highest chance to gain higher levels of consciousness? Well, I don't know much about raising families, but I would say keep them out of government school. If you don't want your kids to learn the wrong thing, don't put them in front of the TV and don't give them to public school teachers. And just don't give them like iPads. Be careful what they're watching. Like I used to come home from school and say things that were really weird and liberal and leftist and self-destructive and self-hating, and my parents would go, "Where are you learning this?" That's what they would actually say. They'd go, "Where are you learning these things?" And it's like, where is the when I'm not with you, where is the only other place I go? There are two places I go: at home and one other place. What is that place? It is government school. And my parents were just so dumb. Where are you learning these things? There's one place that I go in between seeing you in the morning and seeing you in the afternoon. Um, so don't send your kids to communist brainwashing camp. X Mastermind 04 says, do you think autism affects your ability to increase in cognition level, if at all? No, I don't think so. People call me autistic all the time, and I'm doing fine. How do you think that relates to severe autism being at level 1? Okay, so if you have like really severe autism and you're really like it's a disability and you're not capable, that's because you've suffered some kind of trauma or some kind of lack of ability to cope at that very, very early level, and you're stuck in your own immediate perception all the time forever. So it's trauma or difficulty transcending a level that makes you get stuck at a level. And you say, do you think autism affects your ability to increase in cognition? I think that one of the reasons I was able to increase in cognition is specifically because it don't have any response whatsoever to peer pressure. Like it doesn't really matter how many people are around me saying, one of us will do the thing, one of us. I just go, well, what do you mean? Like, what are the reasons why I should do that? Could you demonstrate it for me? Because I don't understand. I think that separateness from groupthink has been actually really important to me developing into higher realms of perspective. So I don't think that it's always good or always bad for that. Roger Penrose says, how long should a man wait to fully trust a girl he's dating so he can invest emotionally in her and get attached? Should he ask her intentions early? Yeah, you should ask everything early. Like figure out what she's doing and who she is, and you have to meet people she knows and get, like a Carfax on her. You have to understand like where she's been and what's been going on with her, and see what kind of lies you catch her in. My last girlfriend, I asked her all that stuff, and I spent some time talking to her. I spent some time with her, and towards the end, she started saying a few things that made me feel like that's not really representative of who you told me you were. So like that was a few months into it. So it's going to take at least a few months, if not more than that. And I the only people that I ever met that she knew were her parents, and that was only like for 2 or 3 hours. So I didn't get to vet her properly. There's probably still a lot of stuff I don't know about her. But yeah, you got to vet them. How long should you wait? I think that you'll know if you can really trust her. Like you've got to, in order to know you can trust someone, you have to actually be in a position where they can hurt you and then they don't do it. Like you can't just trust someone because they say trust me. You have to see that they've been trustworthy with other people, and then you have to be like, here are the keys to my car, and then your car comes back in one piece and full of gas. And it's like, okay, so I can trust you with my car. Trust is built. Avocado says, what's your timeline for collapse? I think it's less than 2 years. I think it's going to be under 2 years. The way that money is, inflating right now, and the prices are going up, and people are not getting jobs and not able to buy things, and you got to understand that this dating issue that we've had, that my account is based around, has only been going for like 10 years. What was it? 24? So in 2014, it was not super obvious to me that we were having a major dating problem. I still, like, I had been popular on the dating apps for maybe 6 years at that point, maybe 7, and I just thought, like, "Hey, we live in a new time, people get to be free and do what they want." I didn't really understand that there were guys who were not having those results. Um, it hasn't been that long of a time that the dating apps have been destabilizing relationships and therefore society. People have been maturing through this crisis for a little while. People have been growing up through this crisis. And I think it's going to get to a point where it's like we're just not continuing our culture and our society like we used to. Um, and I think what happened with COVID a few years ago, with all the money printing and handing out and all the changing the laws and all the traumatizing everyone, there are people who still are wearing their mask in their car. They're wearing the medical mask, the loops around the ears, like in their car. It's a steering wheel. It's the windshield. It's the mask. It's not a very clear picture. But there are still people who are doing that now because they're so traumatized. They're just like, I've got to be a good person. COVID could be anywhere. COVID's coming. COVID. And they're permanently, like, they're never going to let go. All of that damage that time did to us is wreaking havoc, and people are just totally ignoring it for the same reason as this. Oh, there are no bad things. Bad things don't happen. Everything's great. Everything's happy. Everything's fine. Jay Amos is back, and he says, check out Matthew Crater and his channel, Bitcoin University. Okay. But basically, Bitcoin is freedom money that goes up 20 to 40% in value every 4 years as long as you hold. Don't dismiss it. It's legit. Okay. I mean, maybe I'll put some money in Bitcoin. I do understand that it has been growing consistently over time. It looks like it's going to avoid a collapse. I don't know. But it's not money, is it? It's not like it's not money. It's like you can trade it for money, but people don't, they don't buy like pizzas with it. I think they did once, but I don't think that's even true. I think the guy sent it to someone who bought a pizza for him. So it's like Bitcoin keeps calling itself money, but then like show me a car dealership where I can buy in Bitcoin. Right? Show me a grocery store where I can buy in Bitcoin. If it's money, why doesn't it work like money? It isn't really money. It's a ledger. It's a spreadsheet. It's a track record of transactions where if you put your money in, you get certain marks on the ledger that are yours, that are recorded in a distributed computer system. And then those marks on the ledger are ostensibly worth a certain amount of money, and then people will pay you that. Like, it's the same thing as fiat. It's exactly the same thing. It's not backed by anything other than the belief that it's backed by something. Like Bitcoin is worth whatever $20,000 a coin because people will pay $20,000 a coin. That isn't different from the dollar. That a loaf of bread is $5 because people believe it is. It's not because the dollar is tied to gold. It's not. It's not attached to something that has inherent worth. So I don't know. Maybe I'll invest in it anyway. Thank you, Chamos. Man, I am really low energy today. How do I achieve a higher level of thinking? I've been over this one a lot, Aurelian. I'll give you the short answer. It's called thinking about thinking. And what it means is that you have to slow down and observe your own thoughts and think about, like, why am I having this thought? Where did it come from? Could I be wrong? Be wrong. And then when you're wrong, figure it out. You have to, think about your own thinking a lot. And as you do that more and more, you'll understand more and more about yourself. And then it'll give you more perspective. I think this might be a short. Have I been on for a half hour? I'll try to do 15 more minutes. Ryan Michaels, have you heard of aphantasia? Yes, I have. I've met people who say that they have it. Any thoughts on how people with it process information or think? We think the same, and I just found out I have it. Oh, that's interesting. You have aphantasia. Yeah, I do know about it. Um, any thoughts on how people with it process information? Not really. I haven't thought about the differences. Like, I don't know. Um, what it would be like not to be able to visualize things because I have a it's like extremely vivid visual imagination. Every time I imagine something, it's like the real world goes away and I can see in my mind's eye whatever world I'm imagining. And I can see bright colors and shapes and light and but it's not something that I rely on all the time. So like when I'm writing or when I'm doing a video or something, it's not necessarily that I can see all the pictures in my head. I don't know. I don't really know what the differences would be about that. It would require a lot more time thinking about it for me to give you any real answer on how that might affect information processing or how you might perform at a certain job or yeah, I've got no answers for you, Ryan. Bernie Luke says, "What happened to the giggly girl who made you wear a ring on live? She moved back to her parents' place." Um, sh I live in a small basement apartment. It's not very nice. She wanted to leave. I told her that we could, but it would take me a minute because I had things to do first, and she couldn't wait around. I have, I'm not perfect. I have some problems. She couldn't deal with them, even though she said she could. I told her what they were before she came to live with me, and I don't know. I was too much for her, and I didn't have as much money as she thought. Like she didn't know that I was making good money when she reached out to me. Like it was her idea for us to date, and she didn't know that I was making good money. So then I told her I was making good money, and immediately she thought that I was going to be able to buy like a mansion on a mountain somewhere, and I was like, no, 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 not that good. Like a high salary good. I'm not a millionaire. Um, so we just had a lot of problems. She's very inexperienced, and she didn't want to. I don't know, grow up and deal with it. She wants a better deal than I can give her, I guess. And I don't personally believe that that's very likely to happen. Um, not because she doesn't deserve it or anything, but just because of the way things are, the way that the world is right now. If there is somebody out there who can offer her more than I could, he's probably busy, Like that's what I talk about all the time. So it's good luck to her, basically. But yeah, no, she's been gone for a minute. It's like long enough that I'm over it. Alexander Semtex. I much prefer Monero to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an unfinished project with privacy issues. You should watch Luke Smith's video on Monero to avoid dystopia. Okay, so Bitcoin, Monero. There are infinity cryptocurrencies. I've heard of Ethereum as well. I don't know. I have to disappoint you, Alexander. I am not going to watch the video on Monero. I can barely keep up with my very, very small amount of work that I give myself. I am so tired from the stress of the last few years. I'm still broken from it. Like, I barely did anything today, and I'm still too tired to do even an hour live. I might cut this off at 45 minutes. But yeah, I know that there's a bunch of coins. There's Dogecoin or whatever, and they all work differently. And some of them are a good idea, and some of them are a bad idea. I don't know how to tell, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna know how to tell. Okay, that looks like all the paid ones for now. That's kind of good. That kind of gives me an excuse to go lay down again. Travis says, it's important to find a solid partner before you have a big bag, someone who will join you on the journey Or else you'll be wondering if she's with you just for your money. Yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. I agree with you, but it didn't work for me. Like everyone that I found kind of was like, I don't think you're going anywhere. What do you believe our origin is? Religion, simulation, Big Bang? So I think that wherever the universe came from, I think that evolution is generally true, but humans were most likely genetically manipulated at some point. It doesn't make sense for us to evolve the way we are, I don't think. I think that there probably was there probably was some degree of manipulation. Like it's described in the Bible, even. It says that they changed our lifespan and our bloodline and made them like us and all kinds of stuff. I think that there's probably genetic manipulation in humans. But other than that, the whole universe evolution story is probably true. What are you playing on that 7-string Schecter to get girls? I've never actually gotten girls by playing music. I usually just play in my room by myself. I very rarely go out and play in front of others. I did for a little while, a few times when I lived in the city, but that was not what I was doing with my life. I was doing something else. I did something else to get girls. Um, I don't know. I play a lot of stuff on it. Covers, Chili Peppers covers. I kind of write industrial music sometimes. God, I am really out of it. 36:07. I don't think I'm going to make it 10 more minutes. Okay, guys, ask me a few more good questions and I'm going to go. I'll make this one a short one today. How do you decide between continuing your current boring but high paying job or change to a more interesting career at 32 years old? Do the math. Um, how boring is it? Like, what are you dealing with really? Because when I made the decision to go into an interesting career in college, I ended up not getting any career at all. And then I was broke all my life. And now my life is a disaster. I would say make your money and save it. But also, I guess invest in Bitcoin because I think a collapse is coming. Inbox says, what do you usually do to get relaxed? Unfortunately, drugs, and I'm trying to get off of them. I was taking a bunch of stuff, nothing illegal, but you can take enough stuff to make yourself unwell, and I'm trying to get off them right now, and it's like one of these days my brain will work again. I don't really get very relaxed in the last 4 years. Like again, since COVID, relaxing has been extremely difficult. Do you mind sharing what state you live in? Yes, I mind. I'm not going to narrow it down. Braden Armstrong, where'd it go? Do you think that as things go to shit, we may see a rise of religion as a repair and possibly coping mechanism? Yeah, a lot of people in the United States have joined like Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which is an extreme form. Yeah, people definitely are doing that. As people see how bad things are, people are going back to God. Yep, 100%. The FBI is even sending agents into Catholic churches for the traditional Latin Mass, and they issued this paper to their FBI agents saying that people attending the traditional Latin Mass are terrorists, and you should go there and listen to their conversations so that we can kick their doors down, throw them in jail for planning terrorism. Like the FBI is attacking Christian churches because people are going back to church as a reaction to all the weird shit that's getting shoved down our throats. So 100% that's been happening for a while. Shay Amos again. Hi. Bitcoin is completely decentralized and hard capped at 21 million coins. Yeah, I have heard of that. And then a lot of them are in dumpsters somewhere. That's what makes it different from the hundreds of thousands of other crypto coins. Oh, the other ones are not capped? Bitcoin isn't even crypto. Oh, I didn't know that. And he says, love your work. Thank you. I don't know what cryptocurrency is then. If Bitcoin is not a cryptocurrency, then I don't know what a cryptocurrency is. Yeah, I don't know the difference between these things, but I guess maybe one day I'll have someone explain it to me. Mon Singh says, "How important is Insta to get girls in general? Don't bother. You're not going to be getting girls on Instagram if you're not like a celebrity, if you're not an athlete or something. Like you're not just gonna have like your dumb face like at a waterfall or something. Like here's the time I went on vacation, and then girls are gonna hook up with you. Instagram is it's one of the worst examples of this in the world, where if you're not in the top, then the girls are not going to be talking to you. It's not, there's no trick to Instagram like if you take a certain kind of photograph, then all the girls are going to be over you, all over you. Or if you put a certain hashtag, then girls are going to marry you. Um, Apps are garbage if you're not in the top. If you're not among the top guys, apps are trash. There's no, oh, I'm going to strategize. It's a load of crap. Do you have experience with mindfulness meditation? Yeah, a lot. Am I religious? Not any particular religion, but I believe in something beyond the body. Convert to Christianity for the perfect girl. I mean, I would do it on the outside if I met a girl who was Christian and was like, I need you to come to church with me. I'd go, okay. I don't know if I would believe that Jesus got back up after he died just because a girl wanted me to, but like I would probably just do the Christian stuff for her. Do you have any experience with mindfulness meditation? Are you religious? I want to answer that question a little bit more. I don't know how. I don't specifically believe in religious things, but I do definitely believe that matter and consciousness are the same thing, and manipulating one is manipulating the other. And the concept of free will is what is godly about humans and what makes us different from animals. That the higher amount of free will you have, the more you have control over the universe. It's like mind over matter, right? If you have control over mind, you have control of matter. What I'm doing right now, just looking at my hand on the camera, just observing it. Here's this side, and here's this side. This is something that most animals could never do. They would never even think to self-observe and just like look at their hand and be like, whoa, my hand is so crazy, like I'm an acid or something. Being able to self-observe like that and being able to have control over your mind and body is having control over the world. So that is where kind of godliness comes from. And I mean, there's a lot more detail that can come from that discussion, but kind of getting ready to go. Djibouti Lebowski. I feel like I'm surrounded by lesbians. Okay, interesting. Do you think the rise of empowered women is leading to more women with women causing a shortage for men? Oh, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Most of the girls who I meet who are like bisexual, they're just doing it for fun and they eventually pick a guy. I think that as much as people like to talk about how gay they are for attention, I don't think that all those numbers of new generations being gayer and gayer, I don't think that it means that they're all going to end up getting married, like gay married. I think that they're just saying I'm open. I think they're just doing it for popularity, and I think that rates of like physically influenced homosexuality are probably pretty similar to what they used to be. Probably affected to some extent by all the birth control in the water and the eating out of plastics, but you know, no, I'm saying what I'm saying is I don't think that the girls are stealing all the girls. John Johnson, what's your favorite industrial album? I would say Symbols by KMFDM. KMFDM. And it's not called Symbols. It just actually has like a bunch of symbols. And so that's the name of it. And so people just call it Symbols. I think that's my favorite one. Braden Armstrong. Seems like the problem with crypto is how dependent it is on global politics. Okay, this is a lot for me to be processing. Of course, every fiat currency is, but Bitcoin could just be removed from one or several countries. Also, I love your videos. Thank you. Thank you for loving my videos. I like it that people like my work. It's like it's motivating. I made a video for TikTok today and I dropped it and people thought it was funny and I was like, ah, it took me 3 days to make this 1 minute video. That's how tired I am. Shay Amos. Also, you're spot on all the other topics you're talking about in this chat. Thank you. Scary times indeed. Yeah. Whatever. I'm not scared. I'm just looking forward to checking out, getting some rest. BTC Bitcoin is proof of work, not proof of stake. Bitcoin University will be the okay. Thank you. Lots of information from Shamos today. All right, as soon as I run out of paid ones, I'm leaving. Mogul Productions, you recommend talking to women on the street versus online dating, correct? I wouldn't say like on the street, like the cold approach, but like go somewhere where women know you. So if you work at a place with a lot of women, you could meet them there, like in a kitchen at a Chili's or something, or if you're in an office, or if you go to church, or if you're in school, or if you're in a marathon club or a biking group or something like that. Like those are the better places, not just like, hey, there's a pretty one, let me run up to her. Hey, you're beautiful, give me your number. That's not what I recommend. I recommend talking to women who are comfortable with you because they know you. Either that or like if you're gonna try to do cold approach, at least learn some skills. Please give me your attention. That is not something that I am gonna do again. I've done it before, and I just don't enjoy it. I don't like it at all. I like it when the woman I'm talking to shows a lot of interest in me rather than me asking her for interest. I don't like going like, "Will you be interested in me, please?" I have illustrations for that. There's one. I am interested in you. Okay, hi. I just was out looking for. I was gonna go get a smoothie. I would like your number. Like I don't like being that guy. And if you do cold approach, you have to be that guy way more often than you are the guy that you want to be. I don't enjoy it. I don't recommend it. Our world user AAM useram. Our world changed faster than our ability to psychologically adapt to it. Yeah, that's by design. This is like if you watch the Matrix series again, the whole thing, 1, 2, and 3, they explain it. They'll tell you all about how the Matrix works. So the code is all in there. The current societal dating issues seem like a form of Darwinism where people select themselves out of the gene pool. It's artificial. This has never happened before. Centrist Glass Cannon says, what was the first interaction when women started approaching you when you were maxed out like? Also, what's the cringiest female sexual behavior? I think the cringiest female sexual behavior is when an unattractive woman insists that you are attracted to her and that you want to have sex with her and just clings on to you. Like, if you are a guy and you do that and you go, oh yeah, you want me, baby, and the girl goes, no, and like people will break that up. People will say that's rapey, get away from her, right? But if a girl is doing it to you, people just kind of laugh and you can go, please don't, please stop. I have to get out of here, right? And she might follow you or whatever. That's it's just as cringy as when men do it, but then no one stops her. So when women start approaching me when I was maxed out, it was like what I first started noticing is women looking at me in public and like more than once or for prolonged times, and then women at like cash registers and things like that looking more at me and smiling more at me rather than looking down at the cash register and ringing me out. It was like more favors. I would go to farmers markets and the girl behind the counter would give me free stuff, like more than I was buying. I was like, oh yeah, here's a free sample or whatever, but not everyone got it. I noticed little things like that. But mostly what happened for me was I was on dating apps, and as my photos got better because my body looked better, the success went like, it just went straight up. It was mostly through the apps. Peter Tan says by the end of July, Bitcoin USD will bottom out at 53K and then moon to either 280 or 325. Then it'll bottom out again at 170K. Then it'll go up to either 280K or 325K. Message from God. Well, thank you, God. Peter Tan seems to believe that Bitcoin will go down at the end of July and then up to somewhere between 280 and 325,000. That sounds pretty cool. Roger Penrose says, "Do you like preppy girls, trads, Stacy's, Becky's?" I have a pretty wide palette. Like I like the girl next door type, but girls that are slightly gothy, I have a weak point for that. Even though it's always a bad idea, always because that means they have emotional problems. But I like really just plain women, just like jeans and a blouse. Maybe went to college, maybe didn't. You don't have to be any like special, particular anything. Just please don't wear makeup. Anyway, that's the last paid question I have, so I'm not taking any more. Even if you send me $100, I'm not answering your question. Don't send a paid question. I am gonna go. DW says always pick the goth girl. Never pick the goth girl. Very few of them are mentally stable. Any other good questions? I'm constantly pine after alt goth emo girls. Yeah, don't do it. Trump or Biden, go to hell for asking the question. Please go straight to hell. Trump or Biden, would you rather eat dog shit or cow shit? I hate it. I hate politics. I hate the way that people talk about politics. What's your opinion on paganism, LARPing? No, paganism isn't coming back. It's just like, it's a hobby. How come redheads are the devil? It's just genetic. Genetics are real. Okay. All right, that's it for me. Thank you, everyone. That was almost an hour. That's fine. I'm allowed to have a week stream sometimes. Okay. Good night, G, and good night.